Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. I am on a bit earlier than I usually am, at least lately. And I have two projects today, two cards that I want to make using these adorable little snow mice. Let me grab the picture here so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the Snow Mice set that is so extremely popular right now. And I don't know, I just feel like the thin cuts on this are worth the money. These three are not too bad to cut out, but this one with all the little things, so I could do without the thin cuts if I had to, but it's nice to have them, and I think that's the part that's gonna sell out. So if you like them, I'd just get them earlier this month if possible. So the other thing I want to use are on this one, I just want to make a real simple card with the snow embossing folder going across the card like this, and then the little mice on there. But I really hadn't had a chance to play very much with the stencils. I'm gonna raise this up just a little. I haven't had a chance to play with the embossing folder and stencil coordinating stencil of the snowflakes, and so I thought I'm just gonna put a little color on this embossing folder because I really just hadn't had a chance to use it much yet. So that won't take me very long, and then we're gonna do a cool little pop-up card. So this stencil set, hard to see on camera, is 3 pieces. And each piece is a different part of the snowflake. And it coordinates perfectly with the embossing folder, which is cool. And so I could get out I have like a little sticky mat that holds this in place. Do I want to use it? Look how dirty it is. It's not even very sticky. I gotta get it clean. I gotta clean that up. I'll just hold it. Let's just see how this works. All right, so basically what I do is look for where the stencil lines up. Easier said than done sometimes. And I want to make these multiple colors, not just one color. So my thing here is that, hold on, let me clean off my space just a little bit. I need a little space. I have stuff all over. I obviously wasn't prepared. Okay, I'm going to use my silicone pot holder mat to hold my ink so it doesn't move all over the place. And I do not want this super dark. I'm using the Gnomes for Winter paper, and I want it to kind of coordinate with that, and that means it can't be insanely dark. So I'll see what I can do about that. Sometimes I just have no control. I put so much ink on there. All right. So how's everybody else doing? Getting ready for snow? I mean, they keep talking about it. I feel like the snow is a joke. Like, I don't feel like it's really going to happen. And in our area, there's some models that show that we're just going to get lots of rain. So that wouldn't shock me to get a bunch of rain instead. And wind. Like, get the ickiest part of the storm. The wind and, yuck. Oh, see, I kind of like that blue. That's nice. Okay, so there's layer 1. Let's see. The next layer. Try to decide which I want. I think I wanted to do this layer. I'm going to put it on. It has like the leafy wreath looking kind of border. Let me just move a couple things. Every time I put something on my desk, I'm like, I gotta get rid of that. I just have so much on here. I'm in the process of making the hostess layouts, and that always takes a lot of space in my craft room. Okay. Oh yeah, I like this. So technically in this Gnomes for Winter paper pack, the color is jade. But when you look at it, it's such a light version of jade that I decided to use sage because I thought it would match better, and I think I'm right. So I'm glad that I didn't go so dark. I'll see the bottom needs lined up just a little better. Yeah. So what are you gonna do today? Errands? Anybody got errands to do? We've already been out and doing stuff. I can't believe it. I'm so tired. I did not sleep good last night. And Steve had a like a dermatology appointment this morning early. And so off we went. 7 a.m. Okay, and this is periwinkle. I feel like I'm dragging. I may have to take a nap. I hate doing that though when I don't sleep good, because then you know what happens is you turn around and don't sleep good the next night because you got too much sleep. It's like a vicious cycle. You almost have to live through a day of bad tiredness or something. So, how you doing, Heather? I think you'll like my other project. I decided I'm using that postage die. I don't know, the periwinkle looks like the blue to me. It doesn't look that much different from the sapphire. I wonder if I would have used a brown, if it would have really popped. So, I don't know. You know, I kind of rewatched some of my video from the virtual crop, and I don't rewatch it to watch myself necessarily, because ew, that's weird, but to see if everything shows up on camera the way I want it to. Oh look, that's not terrible, is it? That turns out really nice. Look at that. Okay, yeah, I like it. Okay, I missed a little tiny piece right there, but it's not going to be noticeable, I don't think. All right. Yeah, I like that. I might trim it just a smidge more. Just a sec. Anyway, I realized when I have this camera up high, like high enough to show a 2-page layout, you can't see details of me coloring or anything. And even the stuff that I was showing to, like, even like when I was showing the brand name of something, like showing it and moving it what I thought was close to the camera, I realized you can't even read it. So I feel like I need to fiddle around with that a little bit. I have this scrap of glitter paper. It is truly a scrap. I just cut off a sliver off of another project, and I've had it in my bag for a while, and I thought, well, I'll just put it on there. It'll add some sparkle. And then I thought about maybe even adding a little shimmer brush. So yeah, so this is a thing that I have dies for, but I thought I want to show you how they are to cut out. I don't think the snowball and the mouse one is too bad. It's like, I think the one that's bad is the skier. So, I don't know. I'm not always the best fussy cutter, but when I'm putting it on to white, I don't really care. Oh, look, I didn't color his little tail. I have another little one that I'm going to color here in just a minute. Usually when I have something like this tail, I try to cut it first, so you're not dealing with like a flimsier piece of paper while you're cutting the delicate part, right? Oh, so adorable. These little mice are too cute. See, like his tail right there, if that's the very last thing you cut, it might be a little difficult. And I'm not even going to cut it all out. The other thing that happened last night that messed up my sleep is, you know, I have all these cameras around my house. Call me paranoid, but I don't, you know, the time they really need to be on and alarm set is at night when we're asleep. And so when something happens at night that sets off the cameras, that wakes me up for a while. Because you got to wake up, you got to see what it is. And it's usually a critter, you know. It's not uncommon to have, yeah, like that. It's not uncommon at all to have, like, cats set it off, or possums, or things like that, critters. So I'm always messing around with those cameras in the middle of the night. Not ideal. Not ideal. I just pulled this out of my garbage can, this little piece. I'm like, it must have been meant to stay because I'm using it. So the other thing that happened yesterday was I got a message from someone in town who really wants to have in-person classes, like card classes. And it's not that I don't want to do that. I always feel like I have a difficult time finding times when everyone is available. Anyway, there's card one, and I might add some sparkles to a couple of the snowflakes, but I just thought that was really cute. There's one, and I just wanted to play. Now the second one, I'm going to use the little mice again. There's the different mice, and I'm going to use a couple of dies. So this is the new postage frame die. It is basically a 3-inch opening square. And then these dies are, gosh, I swear these are from like 2 or 3 years ago, and they're still available, which means they ordered gobs and gobs of them and had them left over. But I use them all the time, and I'm really glad that they still are available, because I can show them and people don't ask me, you know, say, oh, I really want those, and then I can't get them. So these are really nice. So we're going to make snow mounds with this. I'm going to put this aside for a minute. This will be like a smooth snow mound, and then a bumpy snow mound, and then a super bumpy one. And you can see how that works. I'm not using this one. I just wanted to show you the set. So I keep these on my magnet wall, so they're always around. And the card that we are making is this one. And Heather, pay attention, because I might send you this one in your card, in your card group. So it's basically, the front is just, you know, strip of paper and a circle with a little stamped mice circle. And then I used a gel pen around the edge and a few of the snowflakes from the set. There's like some little bubble like dots and a couple of snowflakes. And I just used a couple of those. I just thought this is adorable. And then when you open it, it pops up. So there's a pop-up mechanism that we're going to make. And you can see I used the smooth one, the bumpy one, and I should call that the wavy one, and then the bumpy one. And you can see where this would be good for water. It would be good for a grassy hill, whatever. And so I know it's a little weird, some of the colors that I used, but I really liked the idea of the back not being totally white. I could have made every level be white like snow, but you know how snow takes on different colors when it's in the distance. And the cool thing about the mechanism is that it all folds like this. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to drop it. The whole thing folds like this, and it really is thin enough to go through the mail without extra postage. So that's great. And you can see how I did it. I just think it's adorable. So let me get my pieces out. Here's a couple of strips, and that's for the outside. And I thought instead of the round frame on this one, I might try the postage frame and just see how it looks. So I went ahead and stamped the mice onto a 3-inch square that'll fit inside the postage. You know, like I'll put it down and then I'll put this down. And then it looks like the little mice are peeking out. I think that's so cute. And then so we need to color that. And then on the inside, I have the different snow pieces, and you may notice they're all wonky sizes because they need to be trimmed down. They're not, I just kind of cut the border. I didn't measure because I wanted to show you that anyway. And then I want to show you how to make the mechanism. So let me grab my scoreboard really quick and kind of show you how I do that. So those little cubes in there, Jennifer McGuire showed that on her channel one day, and I have just been using it ever since. So I made them 5.5 inches wide because that's how wide my card is, right? And then since you need 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you need one side to glue, I made it 2.5 inches. 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, right? And you need 2 of them if you're going to make the double pop-up. So let's score it at every 1/2 inch. And that's all we need our scoreboard for. Now, one thing about these is that you don't really want to use your heaviest cardstock for these because when your card folds up, it just adds bulk, and they're pretty sturdy already. Like you don't need them to be like crazy strong. I hope that makes sense. So this is like cheaper cardstock. I think I got it at Walmart or something, these pieces. And basically after you score them, you fold them into your kind of cube shape, right? And you're only putting glue, and you can use score tape or whatever on your flap and fold it over and hold it down. And then same way with this one, you just want to be able to put it on your flap, and this is like the easiest pop-up ever because I don't know. I just don't like the super complicated if I don't have to. Now, what I like to do is I like to turn the cube, turn it, squish it, turn it, squish it, turn it, squish it, turn it, squish it. The idea is you want it super folded. You want it well creased. You want it where it will fold up in your card without any effort. You want it to just do its thing. So it takes, it's a good idea to take a moment and make sure that these pieces function well, and then your pop-up is perfect. So it's worth the minute that it takes to really score these and play with them a little bit. All right, so let's color the mice, because honestly, I have tons of little mice to color, but I'm just going to color the ones for the for here right now. I guess I could color the inside ones too. I got like little snowball guys. Actually, I think I have one of each. I didn't do the extra skier. Why didn't I do him? I don't know. And then I have this little guy. I stamped extra snowballs and just cut out the snowballs to put on there. So I just thought that was cute. And then I had extra piles of snowballs. When I use my tri-blend markers, I have this kind of guide. There's a file that you can download on the Connie Crafts page that is this guide, basically, or one very similar. And I just used each marker and colored it in, and it gives me an idea of, what coordinates with the paper that I'm using. I like to try to find the markers that are the closest. And so like this true blue marker is a good match. And I have this grayish color is this vintage blue color. I have, I don't know, I like periwinkle is a little harder because it's such a blue color, but I think this hydrangea blend is fairly close. It's not perfect. You can see it's pinky, but if you use just the first two colors, or if you use lavender, maybe it's the blue on there. The periwinkle blue is a hard one with these markers. The other colors that I like to use is a brown gray blend for the mice, because you can use the ice gray blend, but they, it's just a cooler color, and mice are, I don't know, I like to make them a warmer color. So basically I'm coloring in with the brown gray just like this on all the mice. I'm gonna color their ears, color their little faces. It obviously doesn't take very long. Now if you like them the darker color of gray, you could use the mid-tone gray. It's not that much different. than the light, but like sometimes I'm kind of afraid of using up my lightest color on all my markers, and so sometimes I will just color using a combination of the both, just to use them up evenly. And you can see I want his little feet, I want his little tail. Here I'm doing this again, his little face again. Feet, I think oh yeah, I didn't have feet on the other one, did I? Okay, and then here I have his little ears. And his face. All right. Now, just to add a little something to them, I take the darker color, a brown gray, and do just a tiny bit of shading under the hat where there would be shading, you know what I mean? Like a little bit on the ears, a little bit under the hat. He would have some shading there. Again, a little bit on the ears, around the face, the feet, and same way on here. So let me try to hold it up closer so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm basically just scribbling in a little bit of color here and around the face. You know what I could do? I probably could make some sort of block that like it's closer to the camera that I can draw on. I need to work on that. I like having a little bit of closer detail when I'm coloring. Okay, the other thing I want to do besides the brown gray is I want to add some ears or cheeks, and you can do that with pale pink or coral. They're very, very close. I kind of like the coral for the warmth it adds. So I'm going to add in the lightest color of coral. I'm just going to color in the ears and a little bit on the cheeks like that. So I'm going to do that for each mouse. Ears, cheeks, ears, cheeks. Now, you may notice that's, if you ever watch like YouTube people who are using Copics and lots and lots of colors, they get out like 4 markers and they play and they play and they play and they blend and they blend and they blend. And I had a very large set of Copic. Now if I go with the darker or mid-tone coral, I can shade just a little. It'll fade back a little bit on these ears. And so you can go back in with your lighter one and then just blend that out a little bit. And you end up with just a little bit of shading, which really, I mean, like right now, it looks a little sharp, but if you go back with your light color and add more alcohol to that, it does blend it out. So I love the tri-blends because of the simplicity of picking the colors. So much easier, so much easier. Okay, so now I just need to figure out like what I want to do for their little hats and coats and stuff. And so I'm basically just gonna color in my colors that I want to use. I like using some of the same color on each of the mice. This is a scarf around his neck, so I'm just gonna make that blue, and then I'm gonna take my darker shade of blue and do just a little bit, again, a little bit of shading. I don't need to do too much. And then the other thing, if that doesn't seem like enough contrast for you, you can get the shade. There's actually, of True Blue, there's 6 different colors in the tri-blend. So you can use the next shade up and add a little more contrast to that shading. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna add a little bit. And again, this is not like a keeper card that somebody's gonna keep for the rest of time. It is, you know, it doesn't have to be a work of art. You just want to have fun with it, right? Let me go ahead and color real quick a couple of these guys. So it doesn't take very long coloring this way, because there's not, you know, thank goodness, there's not that much detail. Just enough to make him look really fun, all right? And this guy needs a little bit of blue. I think I'll do his hat and his scarf. And then I'll go to the contrast color. And then this looks really harsh to me, so I'm gonna go back with my light color again and just kind of blend it out. There we go. Cute. And then this little guy, I don't want very much blue on him. I'm just gonna do the stripes. Now the other thing that I did with the blue, the super light color of blue, is I outlined the snowballs just a little bit, because even though they're white, they have a shadow, and you could use gray to do that. But I like how it looks blue, and then when I add my shimmer brush or whatever to it, I like how it looks adding the blue. So I don't know how many of these stacks I'm gonna use. I may only use one, but I'm gonna prep a couple since I have it out and I'm ready. I want my card to be done when I'm done. There, I'll just use a couple. Okay, now contrast colors. So we have this vintage blue. It's pretty gray. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I'm gonna put that on the side for a minute. Let's go ahead and do our purple color, contrast color. We can do this little hat. Yeah, see already that looks too light to me, and it's, there. What do you think? That little purple's cute. Now, I don't remember, this one is super pink. For some reason, the next color turns into a pinky purple. I don't want to use a ton of it. I'm just going to use it on the edges to shade. But I do like the purple on here, so I'm just gonna keep going here. And then this one needs a little bit of shading. Now, remember, when you have a hat, it will shade, you know, below and above. And let me, when I get to the gray, I'll show you how a good way to shade with that. All right, let's finish this little guy with his purple hat, and let's do a purple coat. And with him, we'll do a purple coat. So we have a couple people, purple coats. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of the purple for shadow, but not a lot because it's very pinky compared to my paper. All right, a little on the edges. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. I think I may go ahead and use the purple on the sled too, just to get it colored. All right, so my next color that I was thinking of that vintage blue because of that stripe right here that I have, but I think the green might work. And if I look at my colors of green and which color looks closest to it, I would say that mid-tone to the dark light green marker looks pretty close to that. So I grabbed my light green blend and I'll do the mid-tone. Everybody will get a hit of green here. I'll just do a little bit on his mittens. We'll do his bottom of his coat and his mittens. Should I do his pom-pom? Yeah, let's do his pom-pom. We'll do a little bit on him. And boots. And then on here, I think the only one that isn't colored is this hat. Okay, so then I'm gonna take my darkest color of that just to do a little bit of shading on it, because even though these are small and you don't think it's gonna make a difference, it does help make them pop. I wanna show you my gray trick. So let me do this. Okay, I really like how that looks. See, you can see his little hands are shaded. I'm gonna go back to that brown gray blend, okay? It's a gray, you could use ice gray. And I'm gonna use the lightest color, and I'm gonna shade the brim of this hat. I'm gonna try to do it up in the air. And I just want it on the edge. I can't do it up in the air. I'm gonna do on the edge here and on the edge here. And then when you look at it, it looks shaded. And you would never guess that there's a bunch of gray on it, right? But there is, and it looks great. And you could do the same thing to this hat, like just, you know how it would be rounded around the edge? Just around the edge. So that is how sometimes I'll shade. I will use a gray, an ice gray or a brown gray, and just go around like that. And it darkens the color that's already there, which is pretty cool. It's a cool trick. So, all right. I think I'm pretty well colored here. So now it's time for assembly. We can assemble. You know, I kind of feel like the inside of this could use a little color, like, I don't know, maybe sky color. So I have my Glacier ink pad here. I have my Glacier sponge, and I don't know. I should get a bigger one. Do I have it? Hold on. Since I'm gonna just, now don't splush. You'll get a splush mark. Go from the edge to the center and go around and move your ink around, and that way it'll all look smooth. And you can see my blue is super light. I'm not going crazy, and I'm careful not to go on to the white of the, you know, around the hat. I want that white to be very white. There, look at that. Oh, that's good. That's a good look, right? I love it. It's so cute. Gosh, it's cute. Okay, we're going to have we have a generic card base, and we're going to attach our little pop-up. Now, I'm going to start by just putting it onto the bottom of the card, into the fold of the card, and I'm just pushing it in there and putting pressure. I only have adhesive on the bottom. You can kind of see that, and you just kind of push it on like that. Now I need adhesive to attach it to the back of the card. That's what will make it move with the card, as if it's attached. Otherwise it's just hanging there. So we just need a little bit of adhesive here, and then just fold your card onto it. This glue is barely art glue. It's really fast. So here we have our pop-up mechanism. You can see you need it right in the corner. I didn't get it quite all the way in the corner, but you want it as close into the corner as you can, so that your mechanism will work really good when you fold it up. And so now we can decorate the back of the card. I like the idea of the snow in the sky, so I'm just gonna put a little I'm just gonna put a little snow in the background. Now we have our 3 pieces that we made for the back, and I'm gonna make this arch back here, and I am using the color Mist, and this is the light side of Mist, and yeah, it is a little dark. You're probably like, oh my gosh, doesn't look like snow. But in the distance, you know, snow can look dark. So I was like, okay, this is approximately 2 inches at the widest part. Now, we want to add our wavy piece. Now, notice how big it is. If I put this onto my pop-up mechanism like this, I don't want it to cover the background, so I need to trim it. And so, you know, we want it to be maybe about there. And so, I get my pencil. I'm just gonna make a little mark approximately where I want it cut, and I'm gonna trim that off camera on my chopper. All right, and then I'm gonna adhere it. Even that is a little tall. But I don't really have a mouse for the back anyway right now, so I think that'll be okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the front of this pop-up mechanism, and I'm gonna put the next wavy hill onto the pop-up, just like that. And now you can see, give it a minute to glue down, when it folds up, it folds flat, but when it opens, it will pop up. All right, now we want to have a third one with the bumpy snow. So we need to take our second cube that we made and add it to our card. And I'm gonna put it on there, and I want it as close as I possibly can to this other cube behind it. So that's what it looks like right now. Now I need to put glue in there so that it will all be together. Now, if you use your tape runner, it's so easy. You just put tape runner on two sides and put it in there. I'm just doing this in slow-mo so that you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to just fold up the card, and then that glue will be where it needs to be, and everything will get glued down. Just wait a moment for the glue to attach. Okay. And then, boom. Do you see that? Now we can put on our little front piece. And I want this trimmed down a bit because it is long. I'm just going to try eyeballing it. We'll see how that works. Sometimes that works great, sometimes not. Yeah, but that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive down here. You can always mess with it and trim more, or, you know, whatever you want. I'm going to just fold it in and do that rubbing thing again, make it go where it's supposed to go. And then you have your pop-up. So my pop-up sticks out just a little bit. Do you see that? And I can trim off that side of the card that shows out if it's like just too much. And that way, you know, it won't show. So anyway, it probably wouldn't show anyway. That's just a OCD thing. Okay, so now we're ready to decorate the inside. We have our little guy with the sled, which I think he looks good here. We have our guy with the snowball rolling. Oh, he looks good there too. We have our little, oh, gosh, these are cute, cute. All right, I'm gonna put the guy with the snowball pile on this hill. And do I want him in the background? I think I will. I think I'm going to put him in the background. I could put him down here with the message. That's cute too. I like him on here. Now, the one thing about glitter, when you're adhering to glitter, it's usually a good idea to use foam tape because it just has a little more stick power than just glue. Now, liquid glue does work, but when I'm adhering to glitter, I use both. So I use a few dots of the liquid glue and I use foam because it just works, works better. All right. Now I got to decide what I want to do. I love this keep calm and wait for snow. Let's do the outside first, then I'll know what pieces I have left. All right, so I have a couple of strips that I cut. I kind of like the plaid on the front. I think I'll put the plaid. I could use the snow, but I like this plaid color. I'm just going to put it across. And I have my little mice peeking, and I put a message on it already, so that's the way it's going to be. It's going to go that direction, but you would need to decide. I love the idea of, think about making Valentines this way. Like, get out your little cutesy stamps, I know, and have their little faces peeking from inside a frame. Any frame you have, I'm sure you have dies and things that would work amazing to have little faces, and I think that would be a fun Valentine card too. There's something about this postage that lends itself to Valentine's too. So you'll see me using that again. This one, interestingly, sold out already. Can you believe that? But they ordered more They knew it was going to sell out when they got feedback from consultants. So they went ahead and ordered more back a little bit. Okay, I love that. Love it. I think it needs some snowflakes, but I love it. That means I have this piece I could put in here. I do like that idea. So one side is words, one side is the stripe. So I'm just going to put a little stripe in here. I like how the liquid glue gives me just a second to wiggle it into place because, you know, sometimes I'm not straight. Keep calm, wait for snow. That's my message of the day, because I want snow, dang it. I'm tired of not having snow. This has been a weird winter. And then I have these little snowballs that I want to put on the sled. So again, it goes on that glitter. I got to put some foam on it so that it'll stick to the dang glitter, right? You may have an amazing adhesive for glitter, but that's my trick. And then I think I'm going to make the snowball guy up here. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on him. And put him rolling this snowball up the hill. So now when it opens, you get that little scene, right? Keep calm, wait for snow, and look at the little people. Oh, I love it so much. It's so cute. Okay, and on the outside we have this little greeting, and I put the snowflakes on blocks thinking, I know I'm gonna need some snowflakes. And what colors do I want to use? I definitely want to use periwinkle. And I think I'll use sapphire and maybe some sage. I don't know. Actually, I think I might use glacier, since I put glacier on the outside of sponged onto that. There's my colors. Let's make some snowflakes. I don't want to get too many out at once. I'll screw up my ink pads somewhere. So there's those. I like these giant ones. Let's do some little ones. And then I also have some of those little snow dots, and I have some ideas for that. These little snow dots are interesting to me, and I have a couple of things I want to do with that, so we can try it. You can see I put some of the snow dots on here too. And so what I'm going to do is get out my diamond stickles. Hold on a sec. I have a lot of stickles here. I gotta find the right color. Okay, so diamond stickles are amazing because it doesn't add bumps to your project, right? And I store mine flat, so sometimes it takes me a minute to get them worked down into the bottle. But what's cool is that you can sparkle up your snowflakes and use it almost like paint, or you can just dot it on to the dots. And you can see it really adds sparkle. There you can see the sparkle. And so I'm just adding some glitter to the snowflakes, some dots to the dotted areas. I have got to figure something out to make my projects closer to the camera without holding it up in the air. I mean, honestly, that's going to be my next project. I'm going to find a box or a bin or a something to set things on. Okay, now that takes, you know, I would give it an hour to dry, but look how fun. And then on the inside, you could do stickles too on your, like, you know, if you really love the look of stickles, you can paint with them and make them glittery. Sorry, my bottle is about less than half full, and so it takes me a while to get it working the way I want. Now, don't shut your card if you do it like this. You're going to be like, oh, it glued together, because stickles is like a glitter glue. I love it so much. And you could use a shimmer brush, but you know, glitter glue has a bumpier look to it. It has a more of a textury, sparkly look, even more so than a shimmer brush. Yeah. There you go. I love the texture of it. So I'm not going to close this card, which is easy since it wants to pop up right now anyway, but I'll show you my other one I made. I'll move it around. So here's the round one again, popped up with the skier in the background. And you can see I made the second level a little low. So when you pop it up, the front level is awful big. I could have made that a little smaller, but essentially the same card. And then I used a circle instead. Now, tell me that wouldn't be cute with a heart or any shape with little Valentine images. Maybe I'll make these little mice with like pinks and reds and make a Valentine. That would be cute. That would be really cute. And then here's the first card we did that I haven't glued together yet. I probably should glue that together. This one has a shimmer pen on it. Can you even see it? Shimmer brush on here. I don't know if you can even see it on there, but these dudes need popped up. They're getting lost in my snowflakes. So I'm going to go ahead and put some foam on these. Now, when you're making a card, I don't worry about using gobs of foam because let's be honest, somebody's going to get this card and probably throw it away at some point, right? It's not like it's got to stay good forever. But I do want it to look nice when I get it. So I don't want it to be all mashed and weird looking. So, you know, there's my little guys. Aren't they cute? This is just screaming for glitter. So I'm going to do some glitter on my snowflakes too. Wow. Yeah. It doesn't have to be really thick. And as a matter of fact, sometimes I, instead of putting it on directly from the bottle, I put it on my finger and just rub it on. That's what that Stickles gel is so nice for, because you can you know, just put it exactly where you want it. Ooh, yeah, I'm getting carried away with the glitter, but I love it. And if you can't use glitter on snow, when can you use it? Right? I mean, that's perfect. Gosh, I love this. So, all right. Ooh, fun. I'm having fun now, people. Okay. Well, that's my cards today. That's funny, Heather. I almost ordered 2 of the mice because I just know that they're going to sell out, and then somebody's going to be like, I didn't get them. It was kind of like those trees, you know, those triangle trees. I think I bought an extra 2 or 3, and I sold them the very first time that I showed them because they're just too cool. Oh, this would be cool with the triangle trees on it too. Put a few of those trees in the background just to make a little more of a scene. Oh, why didn't I do that? I'll have to make another. Isn't that cute? I love it. Okay. I guess I should probably, like, you know, go take care of things. I need to go to my dad's and help him take care of getting some of his Christmas stuff down. But anyway, I hope you love the cards. These are just like, I like to call this my faster Friday, but come on, I am no faster. It still took me an hour to do this. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. I appreciate all of you very much. Bye-bye.